Hey guys, I don't know if you're aware, but it's August. I don't know how it happened, but it's August, so I'm going to be doing my July wrap-up for you today. I have 11 books to talk about today, 2 of which are comic books. The first thing I read in July was Harry Potter and the Sorcerers Stone by J.K. Rowling. I'm rereading the entire Harry Potter series for the Book Vagrant's Back to Hogwarts 15 read-along. I'll link that down below if you're interested in participating. So yeah, I read the first book. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about Harry Potter because I feel like I do that anyway. I obviously still enjoyed it and gave it 5 stars. The next few books I have to show you I read for the Cramathon Readathon. The first of those being Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them by J.K. Rowling. This book was really fun to read because I haven't read it since I was a child and I forgot just a lot of the creatures and stuff that they talk about, but also how funny like Harry and Ron and Hermione's like comments in here are. It was really fun to read and just kind of like relive my childhood for a hot minute. Speaking of reliving my childhood, I also read Coraline by Neil Gaiman. I mentioned this before that I read this as a small child and it scared the shit out of me. I read this book in elementary school. My teacher had like bookshelves full of books that you could like check out and read if you wanted to, and I got this from like my teacher's little library, and I remember being so mad that I got this from school and it was like so absolutely terrifying. But I loved this book reading it as an adult. I'm kind of disappointed in my younger self for not like seeing past the scary parts and like recognizing the story for all it has to offer. Coraline is such a strong character, and this is such a great story just about a girl overcoming her fears and being brave despite like being small for her age, despite being a girl, despite what everybody tells her. And I just like really loved it. I definitely wish that I had caught on to those things as a child because it was wonderful. I would definitely recommend this book to pretty much anybody, even adults. Like, I got something out of this story. Like, I finished reading this story with like a little bit more like courage and like feeling a little bit braver, and that sounds like really cheesy, but I loved it so much. I just found like Coraline as a character to be really inspiring. I gave this book 5 stars. The next book I read was also for the Cramathon, and that was Impulse by Ellen Hopkins. I have like mixed feelings about this book. I gave it 3 stars. The writing was nice. Like, I got a little tired of it after a while. I think just because like this book is so long. For me, reading that much of a story like in verse, I was just like, okay, like. This book takes place in a mental hospital. It follows 3 teenagers who tried to commit suicide. My feelings on this book are that the mental health aspects of this book were really well written and really well represented, but as far as like the characters themselves go, I was not a huge fan of. And there was also kind of a love triangle situation that I'm just so tired of. I think this story would have been like so much more powerful to me if there weren't like a love story aspect of it. Like, I was just kind of sitting here like, why can't this just be a story about people dealing with like depression and like all these mental health issues? Like, why does a prevalent part of the story have to be like, oh, the 2 other guys at this mental hospital are in love with me? Like, why does that have to be a thing? I don't know. Now I'm going on a rant. Overall, I liked it. I gave it 3 stars, but I didn't think it was like exceptionally great or anything. I also read volume 4 of Batgirl. I've made my feelings about Batgirl very clear on here, so I won't talk about it forever, but I really enjoyed this particular volume. There's a lot of stuff going on at this point in the story with Barbara and her family and like her questioning like who she is, and I just think all of that's really interesting, and once again, powerful female characters. I also read We Should All Be Feminists by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I don't know how to say her name, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. A big believer that we should all be feminists, and I think everyone should read this book. She found a way to articulate things that like I feel, but like have never really been able to explain, and she explains them and like articulates everything like so eloquently, and it's just beautiful, and I just found this to be really powerful. It's so short. Literally everyone just go read this book. It'll take you like 20 minutes, and then we'll all just be left with a broader understanding of like feminism and why it's important and just women and their experiences, and I just think that's great. I gave this book 5 stars. I also read Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. I was nervous about reading this because I hated it in high school, but I actually really enjoyed it. I really like John Steinbeck's writing style. Like, I don't know why I was so quick to write this book off when I was in high school, because I think it's a really good story, and I really like the way that he writes. I gave it 3.5 stars. The last book I read for the Cramathon was another comic, and that was Mara. I don't know if there are going to be more of these, or if this is the only one. Okay, I apologize if you can hear a lawnmower in the background, but apparently they're mowing our lawn right now, and I don't want to shut the window because it's too hot. This takes place in the future. Children are sent to camps to, like, hone their skills, basically. Mara, the main character in this book, was sent to like an athletic camp, and she's like becomes this huge famous athlete, and then she starts developing superpowers, and there's this whole controversy with her and like the government and her superpower. It's really interesting. I enjoyed it. I gave it 3 stars. After the Cramathon, I read Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets by J.K. Rowling. Gave it 5 stars, obviously. After that, I read Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban by J.K. Rowling. Can we talk about how this cover is the best cover of the new paperbacks? It's so pretty. The last book that I read in July was Wither by Lauren DiStefano. I got this from the book swap at VidCon, which was great because I've been wanting to read these books for a while, but I haven't been able to find the first book anywhere. So I got this at VidCon, and then I read it on the plane, and I really enjoyed it. I'm planning on doing a review of this to talk a little bit more about my thoughts about it. This is a dystopian novel. It takes place in a world where babies were basically being made through genetic engineering, and nobody was having babies naturally anymore. And when they did this, they basically like eradicated like cancer and like a lot of like diseases, and people have stronger immune systems, and they like can get rid of allergies and like all of this stuff. There's a whole generation of people, stronger, healthier people, living like really, really long, healthy lives. The children of these people are basically dying out at 20 and 25. So the women die at 20, the men die at 25. So rich families basically are kidnapping young women and taking them and forcing them to marry men, basically enslaving them to have babies so that they can study these babies and try to find a cure for the disease. I thought it was really interesting. I gave it like 3.5 stars. I'm curious to see where the story goes, so I'm gonna keep reading it. I liked it. It was a really good, interesting read. Alright guys, those are all the books that I read in July. I would love to hear what you read in July. Let me know down in the comments and we could chat about them. Bye! Really? Do you have to be mowing the lawn right now? Seriously?